Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Hello and welcome to a Wednesday Live right here on the early line on SportsGrid and all across the SportsGrid network. That includes sportsgrid.com/watch, where you can find your favorite destination to consume everything all across the grid. He is Donnie right side. I am Ben Stevens. We are together live here for the next 3 hours up until 11 a.m. Eastern time. Finally, we return to the 2025 NBA Finals on this Wednesday. A full-blown breakdown and preview with some picks and best bets for game number 3, a change of venue in this championship set for the first time. Tonight in downtown Indianapolis, the Pacers will host the Oklahoma City Thunder in an NBA Finals tied at a game apiece. A full Tuesday slate around Major League Baseball. And frankly, you can consider this Wednesday, especially the opening hour, Donnie's Dream Show. It's a football Wednesday here as mandatory minicamp got underway around the National Football League on a Tuesday afternoon. So DRS, there are so many headlines, so many storylines, so many sound bites to dive through in this opening hour. Again, a DRS Dream here on an early Wednesday in June.
Exactly. And also, here's what we look at, right? The NFL. We love the NFL. Boy, there are some good football teams, which includes the best football team, maybe in history, last year's Philadelphia Eagles, through that dominant run throughout the playoffs. But that's not where I want to get started here, Ben. There's also another brand of football that gets played in the United States where I question why we donate and give any resources to it whatsoever. Team USA, if that's what you want to call it, who played yesterday against a team named Switzerland, who I believe has 3 total citizens in the entire country, absolutely wiped Team USA out on their home turf yesterday as we prepare for a World Cup. Say it, look, you want to cut taxes out here? Don't cut taxes. Keep them the same. You want to cut teams? Cut Team USA. How about that?
DRS, it was abysmal. I actually tuned in for the first half an hour of that friendly match last night between the United States men's national team and Switzerland. And that's all I needed to see. They were down 3-0 at the time, 4-0 at the break, lost 4-0. I'm not even saying nil. They lost 4-0. I'm not giving the Americans the respect in soccer they do not deserve. And Donnie, do you know what today officially marks? The 1-year out anniversary, if you will, from when the World Cup begins here in North America. Exactly 1 year from today. Supposed to be a crowning moment for the United States in soccer. It looks to be anything but at this moment. Yeah, the U.S. got blown out yesterday by Switzerland 4-zip in Nashville. Let's talk about American football, the sport we are very good at. Around the National Football League on a Tuesday, DRS, mini camp sprouting up all around the league. That includes in Pittsburgh. And who is out there for the Steelers? That's right. Aaron Rodgers reports to mandatory minicamp, takes his reps in a Steelers practice uniform and a hat for the very first time. I'm not sure if we have it here in these still images of him throwing yesterday. Yep, zoom in on the left ring finger. There is a wedding band on it. Aaron Rodgers saying after meeting with the media, he got married a couple months ago.
Here's the best part, and we might have to take up the entire section of our 7 and 7 on Aaron Rodgers. Like, he thinks he's so slick.
We have time to do so after.
Yeah, but let me just get this point out. He thinks he's so slick by showing up like, ooh, I'm a mysterious guy. Like, what? Like, and I know some people do this. It's madness, though, to show up to work, which, again, I wear a ring, but I'm not playing a sport right now. To play a sport with a ring on your finger, but you want to be so coy about nobody knowing that you're married that you know you're going to wear a ring out to football practice where everybody's going to ask you that question. Like, sometimes I look at this and say, I love the fact he's in Pittsburgh because it's a great lightning rod talking point. But at the same time, sometimes I just wish Pittsburgh would win 2 games next year and just watch it crash and burn. Oh, it's so much fun to talk about, Ben.
Yeah, DRS, it certainly is. Aaron Rodgers is not sly. He has never been sly. He loves the attention and the notoriety, even if he pretends he does not. How about another veteran quarterback reporting to mandatory minicamp yesterday? That would be the most expensive backup quarterback we have ever seen. His name, Kirk Cousins, and he was at minicamp yesterday in Atlanta. When he was asked about the situation, he said, quote, "You don't pout or stop. You just keep moving. Keep looking forward and believe that if you do that, good things will happen." He reports he is there. Kirk Cousins, seemingly for the time being, will be with this Falcons organization.
I mean, look, Kirk Cole, I don't even know if he's getting paid like in real dollars or just Cole's cash at this point, but as long as you show up to work with that check that you're getting on a week-to-week basis, you probably will be somewhat happy. Everybody wants to start, we get it. But boy, if you just show up to work and get that type of paycheck, I think everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, it certainly is, DRS, and that kind of paycheck is still about $45 million of annual average value. The Cincinnati Bengals had a very tumultuous start to their mandatory minicamp yesterday, DRS. We talked about Trey Hendrickson not being there. They released Jermaine Pratt the day prior as well. And how about the rookie, 17th overall pick, the first rounder in Cincinnati, Shamar Stewart, still not participating because of an unsigned rookie deal with Cincy.
Yeah, the only thing we're missing now on Mr. Shamar, what's the last name here? Shamar Stewart, excuse me, is that he goes on. Yeah, it goes on DJ. We need a DJ Vlad interview right now with Shamar Stewart because he's starting to leak some good details, and he don't give a damn, Ben, who hears about it. I respect that. I do.
You like the confidence of the Rook? We'll hear from Shamar Stewart in our next segment. The New York Knicks, DRS, in their coaching search to fill the vacancy left behind by Tom Thibodeau, were denied permission to speak with Chris Finch, the head coach of the T-Wolves, and Ime Udoka, the head coach of the Rockets. They have not called Dallas, where Jason Kidd is the current head coach, but Shams Charania is saying the Mavs would reject that permission-seeking call as well.
I mean, what are we doing with the Knicks right now? Why don't you just call every free agent out there? Like hey, SGA, we talked to him in the middle of the finals. Do you think he wants to play for the Knicks? Like, what are you doing here? Find your own coach. First of all, do you even have any draft capital to give up for any one of these coaches that you want to sign that's under contract? I don't know what the Knicks are doing.
Me neither, DRS, and it does not paint the most optimistic picture for a New York team trying to find the right guy to get to that next step. The New York Yankees, they found all the answers they needed yesterday, plating 10 runs in KC to take the opener against the Royals. Aaron Judge hit a home run 469 feet, and Austin Wells had 5 RBIs.
Yeah, welcome to the big leagues rookie, as you like to say on the opposite side. We're praising that, hey, man, kid's having a really good start to the season. And then he saw the New York Yankees. That season ain't looking so good right now.
No, it's certainly not. 469 feet, DRS, that Aaron Judge homer. third longest this year in the major leagues. How about the other New York baseball team, the Amazons? They trailed 4-2 entering the home half of the eighth. They played two courtesy of Pete Alonso and Juan Soto, and then Jeff McNeil delivers the game winner to walk it off for the Mets in the home half of the 10th to beat the Nationals 5-4.
Yep, beat the Nationals in their own division. The Phillies lost yesterday, and so did the Atlanta Braves, as they do each and every day. So, again, another big lead. They're being shocked here for the New York Mets. Will they hold on before the not the deadline, but the All-Star break? Probably so. Hell, they might be up 10 games by the break.
DRS, the one question we asked yesterday, the big one in baseball, how would Andrew Abbott bounce back, who is having a sensational year? He does so in flying colors, understanding the importance of being included on a TEL tease to the next segment. Andrew Abbott, his first career complete game and a shutout, only allowing 3 base knocks as the Reds beat the Guardians 1-0 yesterday in the land. Andrew Abbott, maybe now one of the new starting pitchers that we adore here on the early line. Plenty of football news next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rhythm. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
A football Wednesday, live right here on the early line on SportsGrid. He is Donnie right side. I am Ben Stevens. Again, this is a Donnie dream. This opening hour as we go stop by stop, practice facility by practice facility, all around the National Football League. His mandatory minicamp got underway yesterday. It's not just great, DRS, to see who is out there on the practice turf, but we also get to hear from players and coaches for the first time in a long time. And of course, one of the big stories yesterday, Aaron Rodgers reports to minicamp for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's hear from Aaron right here, right now, on how he is finding his new team.
Well, I think I just want to be a servant leader here and just pass on the knowledge that I have with 20 years, the experience, and just try and fit in with the guys, get to know them, let them get to know me, and just enjoy the process. You know, everything's new. It's like the first day of school. I don't know a lot of guys' names. They don't have names on the back of the jerseys here. They don't have names on the doors in the meeting room. So I literally walk out of the locker room lost, try and grab somebody. Hey, where am I going? But I'll get the feel of it, and I'm excited about making this home.
Aaron, at this point in your life, why do you still want to play?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. Like, I don't need it. For my ego, I don't need it to keep playing. A lot of decisions that I've made over my career and life from strictly the ego, even if they turn out well, are always unfulfilling. But the decisions made from the soul are usually pretty fulfilling. So this was a decision that was best for my soul. And I felt like being here with Coach T and the guys they got here and the opportunity here was the best for me. And I'm excited to be here.
A decision made directly from his soul. Has he earned the respect, DRS, of Mike Tomlin to call him Coach T on his first day of practice? What was your reaction to what Aaron Rodgers had to say about being the newest Pittsburgh Steeler?
Yeah, by the way, my reaction to that, too, is I was listening to what he's saying. I said, wait a second. Like, why are there no signs in a practice facility of where you should actually go at this point? And at an OTA, you have a ton of rookie players out there. Nobody knows who anybody is out here. Sounds like a great organization right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers, just trying to make it simple for everybody to get to know each other. Hey, walked in, no, I have no idea. I can't even look at the back of their jersey to know who they are. Shout out to the New York Yankees. Should be putting their names on the back of their jerseys at home because, again, people don't know who Aaron Judge is sometimes when he comes up to the plate without that name on the back of the jersey. But, but as I digress right here, I just want to get to the Aaron Rodgers point. Like, hey, I'm just happy to be here at this point. Look, and this wasn't your first choice, Aaron. You should have just been honest. Hey, I'm in Pittsburgh. Who wants to be in Pittsburgh? I want to be in Minnesota. I want to be in San Francisco. The only place I could get a job here is with Coach T in Pittsburgh here. I'm going to try to make the best of it. I would have rather that, scenario went like that yesterday when they're asking any questions. But Ben, let's get to the big elephant in the room right now. Aaron Rodgers married. So social media wins every single time. And all I kept seeing was, asking Grok who he got married to, and people were asking if he married himself because nobody knew he was dating anybody at this point, and he's so secretive on what he wants to do. Like, hey, Aaron, why are you away in the off season here, not with the Steelers you're signing earlier? Ooh, mysterious shroud of secrecy here. Then shows up with a ring, and it's basically like, yeah, I got married a couple months ago. Don't worry about who she is, what the name is, where she lives, or what she's doing at this point. But I'm going to wear this ring on my finger, which was so ridiculous that people were asking him if it was an aura ring. Like, oh, you're wearing an aura ring. It's like, no, I got married. Like, wait a second. What did we miss here at this point? This is the Aaron Rodgers cycle that you're just getting into, and it's time for Spin City right now, and we're getting it already.
I love that he mentioned his ego in having made decisions in his past based on his ego. That might have been the most honest thing you have ever heard Aaron Rodgers say. You saw it right there. He's got a ring on that left finger. He mentioned that he was married a few months ago. DRS, there was a lot of questions about it when he signed his contract over the weekend on a Saturday in that Steelers facility. And in the picture that Pittsburgh put out of him signing the dotted line, you also saw that marriage band on his finger as well. You are very correct in how Aaron Rodgers likes to practice his business, right? Everything is a secret. I am the story. What I decide is the story, despite what he might say. Not sure who he is married to. He did mention earlier in the offseason, I believe on the Pat McAfee show, of course, formerly of the SportsGrid Network, that he was dating somebody. I'm sure that is who he is now married to. I did see somebody yesterday say he has been matrimonized instead of immunized, as he said back in the day. I thought that was a pretty good one. But DRS, outside of the personal identity, outside of Aaron Rodgers and his love life, he was on the practice field yesterday as mandatory minicamp begins for the Steelers. You and I, for a very long time, even as it was the worst kept secret in the NFL that Aaron Rodgers would play in Pittsburgh this year, have talked about if it moves the needle, if it changes the outlook for the Steelers at all in 2025. Here's the schedule for the Steelers. The win total is 8.5. 18 consecutive years under Coach T, never a losing record. The under has the juice of the 8.5 win total. If they do stay under, which is the most likely outcome from the odds perspective, that would be a losing record. Do you think that is most likely for Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers this season?
No, I do think they're going to win 9 games this year. I do. Because number one, the MO with the Steelers, they always win 9 games. Plus, they're under Mike Tomlin. You should theoretically have a better quarterback situation than you even did last year. And also understand this. Sometimes you just got to get the team headed in the right direction to get all the naysayers off your back. And that schedule, the way it sets up at the beginning, Ben, could get that done here, and you could ride some momentum into the middle parts and later parts of the season. At the Jets on the road, Seahawks, Patriots, Vikings, and Browns. Every single one of those teams unsettled at the quarterback position, or should I say, not coming into camp with, hey, an ingrained starter that we had last year who looks fantastic. That's not the case here. So you theoretically, for the Steelers, you should be no worse than 3-2. But optimistically, you should be 4-1 or better after 5 games, and that should set you up for at least a 9-win season.
Let's not forget, DRS, entering the second weekend of December, third Sunday of December, Pittsburgh was 10-3 last year with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields kind of splitting that time at the quarterback spot. They were in position at a certain point entering the full final month of the regular season to be the AFC's #1 overall seed. Winning regular season games, never in question in the Steel City. It's about winning a playoff game, which they have failed to do since 2016. Dramatic day in the AFC North. More next.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent a message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face, and after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Mandatory minicamp starting yesterday around the National Football League. Sometimes it's not about who is there and who is participating. It's about who is not. For the Cincinnati Bengals yesterday, DRS, we knew that Trey Hendrickson, in a stalemate with the Bengals front office, would not report to mandatory minicamp. How about the first-round pick this past April, about a month and a half ago, Shamar Stewart, who has not participated at all in rookie minicamp, OTAs, or now mandatory minicamp. He's there, but he's watching from the sidelines as he is and his representation continue to negotiate with the Bengals about wording in his rookie deal. And let me just tell you this, the Rook has all the bravado in the world. Here's Shamar Stewart with an update on his situation.
We all agree Trey will be right? But technically he's still 1% wrong for being under contract. So in my case, I'm 100% right, so it should be a no-brainer. And in Trey's case, I think it should be a no-brainer too. I mean, he led 17.5 sacks for 2 years back-to-back. If I was the GM or I was the owner, take all my money. But I guess they don't operate like that. But
Shamar Stewart, DRS, basically saying what you have often shared about the Bengals and their practices in that front office. What did you make of what the rookie had to say yesterday?
I root for this kid. I do. Like, understanding coming from Texas A&M, where they probably got paid like professionals down there anyway at the NIL. They just signed a quick piece of paper and got their money and went out and played some football. It's like, wait, isn't the pros supposed to be easier? Like, we're slotted in our draft positions. We all step in. We make a lot of money. And by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, our defense here in Cincinnati is set up to stink. You're already, as he's saying, messing with the sack leader in the NFL where you don't want to pay him. I'm a defensive end. It should actually work opposite. Like, damn, Trey's not going to show up. We better get our young first-round rookie draft pick in here as a defensive end getting caught up to speed. And instead, they're just nickel and diming the kid. And it's amazing. And when I say that, it's amazing to me that this organization is still able to operate like that. And I feel so bad for you Cincinnati Bengals fans. I do. Like, you deserve great football in that town. Your team stunk for years, and you lucked into Joe Burrow. Yeah. And yes, you have to sign quarterbacks. You stunk really bad and lucked into a Jamar Chase, and you got him there. First-round draft pick and T. Higgins. Those all worked out. You paid those guys. And it's like, well, we still want to make enough money where, our bottom line is more important than the wins on the field. Why do you do this to your fan base? Like, you should be in the prime of that organization, the sweet spot of all sweet spots, absolutely pushing all your chips in the middle of the table and saying, Joe Burrow, we got you here for the next 5 to 6 years in your prime with your wide receivers and a competent defense. Let's go out and win Super Bowls. And instead, you have a rookie exposing your entire franchise like, I just want to play. Give me the normal contract. I'll sign it, and we'll get out there. And the fact that this didn't take, imagine just getting the contract in front of you, Ben. It's like, all right, well, let's figure this out over the next 48 hours. This is dragging on into months now where you're just not signing a standard contract because you want to get some stupid clause put in there that's probably meaningless, and the agent's going like, this clause isn't supposed to be in here. Just give me a normal contract. The kid wants to play. We want him in camp. You know what he's going to make. What are we doing here? But this is the Bengals being the Bengals who probably think, hey, man, if this kid doesn't sign and doesn't play for the first 3 weeks, we can recoup probably some of the signing bonus that we possibly could get and all that other stuff. We don't have to pay the kid. Like, that's how the Bengals operate. Who cares who's on the field as long as my stars aren't there and we don't have to pay them? Like, that's what I feel like the Bengals operate under every single day.
Yeah, DRS, it's actually a very matter-of-fact situation. You might think they are negotiating back and forth on dollar amount, money, this, that. It's really not the case. The Bengals are trying to add what is known as a default clause. Basically, if Shamar Stewart were to get injured or not meet expectation, they can take away the guaranteed money in his rookie deal. That is specific to Cincinnati. It's also different than what the Bengals offered their first-round pick, Amarius Mims, last year. Shamar Stewart is not even negotiating for something new that Cincinnati has never done before. It used to be the standard of what they did. It's what the other 31 NFL organizations already uphold as well. Rookie contracts are rather simple now in the slotted era, depending on where you are picked. In the first round, here's your guaranteed money, here's your annual average value, here is how the cash works out over the 4 or 5 years of that rookie contract, and yet the Bengals even mess this up. That is the issue, DRS, with Cincinnati, and that is why you can get mad at Shamar Stewart because he's a rookie, and you can say he hasn't earned it yet. He's really just trying to do what every other rookie in the NFL already has.
Just wants to play. That's it. And by the way, remember the Giants were like, ooh, that's a bad contract. No, it's not. Because he stinks and we'll get out of it in 2 years. Is that what they're doing to the Bengals rookie? Like, if you stink, we'll get out of it? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Crazy. More around the NFL next.
if we had like Big Shot Bob for Robert Horry, what are we calling Tyrese Halliburton? Because Big Shot Bob would give you like 1 a postseason. This guy's giving you 3 in 3 rounds. What a performance down the stretch by Halliburton, and the entirety of that team sticking together, staying to the plan, and shocking everyone in the fourth quarter again.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Not that we have control of any sport. Baseball, you can breathe. The pitcher steps off the mound, even at the bottom of the 9th, World Series or whatever. Football, okay, first down. Then you second down, and there's a method to it, right? The hockey is just all out reactionary, crazy, puck bouncing around everywhere. Oh my God, there's always like a scoring chance.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Dialing it back to his old days with St. Louis and Arizona. Buy or sell, Goldie will finish top 7 in fantasy first baseman.
No, I'm going to say no. I think he'll fall off. Older player here, he'll be top 10, but not top 7 here. Top 10, I would say, yeah, I'd buy it. Top 7, I'm going to say no here. I think he'll put up decent numbers here. Not as good as he was. I don't think he's going to bat 340, 350 all year long.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
I got a feeling Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. I got a feeling there is no chance they're going to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding.
They're still not expected to have over 8.5 wins. They're still not expected to have a winning record. Now, I know things could change for the next 24 hours. I get that. But everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to sign with him. He's going to sign with him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
So when mandatory minicamp comes around in the National Football League, sometimes it's about not the guys who are there at the practice facilities and on the turf, but those that are notably absent. TJ Watt, DRS, as we discussed earlier on for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Trey Hendrickson, absent yesterday for the Cincinnati Bengals. Terry McLaurin, absent for the Commanders. And then 2 guys we'll discuss in just a matter of moments. Basically, everybody on this list is not showing up to mandatory minicamp, DRS, because they are hoping for a new deal. They are unhappy with their contracts. You saw Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith on that list as well. DRS, when these veterans do not show up to minicamp in early June because they are hoping for a contract extension, they are hoping for a new deal, does that concern you at all, their absences and not being present at camp?
No, TJ Watt will be signed. Trey Hendrickson, he'll be back one way or another because the Bengals will tell him, be happy with what you're making. So I do expect him to play, not sit out and lose out on $20 million. Terry McLaurin will be paid as well. Jalen Ramsey, I don't really know if it's really a contract decision as opposed to my time maybe is done in Miami. I just want a fresh start and they'll pay me at my new position. But Jonnu Smith, that's the player that should be up there. Like if Jonnu Smith plays or doesn't play or holds out, does that move the needle at all? I mean, come on now with Jonnu Smith up there, with TJ Watt and Trey Hendrickson and Terry McLaurin. That doesn't even make any sense here. But for me, no, it doesn't make a big deal now. It's OTAs at this point, especially with defensive ends. It's not like you got to learn the playbook. Like, what's your job? All right, hike, I'm going to sack the quarterback. That's what I do. I'm not worried about those guys, but I do laugh at Jonnu Smith not showing up like, there goes the Dolphins' futures.
Listen, Jonnu Smith was the only Pro Bowler for Miami in 2024. All of those guys there, of course, are veterans. They have been around the block. They have been through the offseason for nearly a decade at this point. Not quite Terry McLaurin, but the other guys on that list. Right here in early June, not overly concerning. They are using the leverage they have to try to negotiate for that long-term contract extension or a raise. It seems as though TJ Watt and Terry McLaurin will certainly get that here rather soon. Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals, of course, are an anomaly, but that's our take on it. For those final 2 guys on the board with the Miami Dolphins, how about the head coach in South Florida in Mike McDaniel? Is he concerned at all by the absence of those 2 players?
Just to confirm, Jalen Ramsey not here.
Oh, he is not here. We are focused on building the Dolphins today, and anything outside of that any sort of distractions I'm not focused on.
Surprised it's taken this long to find a resolution with the team.
I don't personally, and I would lump you into this with me. I don't give a about what I feel. I'm not. I don't even really go down that road of how do I feel about it. My job is to react and control my controllables and make sure that people are moving in one direction appropriately.
About to be year number 4, DRS, in Miami with Mike McDaniel as the head coach. And again, those final two guys on that list, Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, not only looking for a new deal, but also probably on the trading block. It's the rumors around both Ramsey and Smith at this moment.
And by the way, you're headed for one of those seasons where it's put up or shut up, and it doesn't look like that team is ready to back him by putting up. Looks like they're shutting up at this point. But I always joke about, like, right, he buys the Rolex but doesn't set the time because the time is set on when he signed his contract to always remember it. He wears shoes with, if you walk out of the building, they buzz because it looks like he stole them with the tags on it. He's a real cool dude. Ain't going to be so cool there in Miami when they go under 500 and he's bounced from that organization. But I understand, like, the frustrations. Like, you're asking me, like, hey, well, what do you think about Jalen Ramsey not being there? What do you want me to think about Jalen Ramsey not being here? It's a contract dispute between him and ownership. If I could write the check today with no balance on it, yes, I would just give it. We'd move forward. But I'm trying to move the Miami Dolphins forward. But it's interesting where you can do that as a coach when you've won multiple Super Bowls and deep playoff runs. It's hard to do that now when he's on the hot seat. It's like, I don't want to alienate my players any more right now than just telling you, like, I don't care if Jalen Ramsey's here or if he's on some cruise ship, in the Northeast by the time we play football season. It doesn't matter. I got to coach this football team. You can tell the pressure starting to get to him now.
The Finns made the playoffs in the first 2 years under Mike McDaniel. Missed out on the postseason last year. Of course, the injury to Tua Tagovailoa was that main focus.
Yeah.
Not overly optimistic, the sense around Miami entering 2025. 8.5 the win total. The under has a hefty bit of juice at minus 175. And if the Dolphins are going to be looked at, not optimistically from the odds, and booked as an underdog, not a good sign. Miami as a dog in the 3 seasons under Mike McDaniel, 5-18 outright. They have beaten the bad teams under McDaniel. They have lost to the good ones consistently in the last 3 seasons. DRS, a quarterback that was at mandatory minicamp yesterday, the most expensive backup maybe we have ever seen in NFL history. That is Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. Of course, the starter, Michael Penix Jr., Cousins remains on the roster as that reserve signal caller. Here was Kirk Cousins meeting with the media yesterday and what he had to say. Quote, "We're moving forward, and it's about how we as a team and as a quarterback room can be the best we can be in 2025. That's the right thing to say, and that's what Kirk Cousins did yesterday.
Yeah, he wants to start. And also, is there one quarterback in the league that you actually you got demoted, you're making a big salary, instead of saying I'm not showing up, you know what, I'm just going to make the best of it here, and I'm good friends with Michael Penix. I like the environment that I'm in. I'll just come to work and work hard every day and not be a distraction. Because quite frankly, if he really was I don't want to say, a bad guy is not the right word, but a competitive guy, he would drive the needle home. And every time he took that microphone, be like, I'm expected to be the starter. I'll beat this kid out here by the time we see week number 1. He'll be off that football team in less than 24 hours. But he is playing the good soldier at this point. And also the Atlanta Falcons still trying to hold on to, we told you we liked him as a backup. We don't care about the money situation. All along, picking up the phone all day long, trying to get him moved to a different team. Hey, can somebody take Kirk Cousins, take him off our hands, take him off the salary structure, limit the damage when we do trade, and if we're cut him at this point. But good on him for being the good soldier, because quite frankly, he shouldn't even be in that building right now as even a building block that's saying, you know what, if I'm Penix, hey, who's behind me back there? I just threw an interception. Looks like Kirk's coming in the game. You can't have that here. He should be going sooner than later, but he's playing the good soldier right now, and I guess good for him.
Yeah, DRS, when it really comes down to it, right, it's easy to say all the right things here in early June at mandatory minicamp. What happens if Atlanta is 3-4 midway through October could be a very different story. If Atlanta even trades Kirk Cousins It's a $37.5 million dead cap hit. Of course, you would assume the trading partner takes on some of that financial responsibility, but there's not really a trading partner or any team in need of Kirk Cousins' services at this moment. Maybe as training camp starts to play out in about a month and a half, if there are injuries or issues, or deeper in to the regular season. A couple of guys that showed up yesterday that are looking for a new deal. Michael Parsons in Dallas, Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner in New York. Everybody looking for that second extension following their rookie deal. Same story, DRS, in Buffalo for James Cook. He is looking for that extension, playing in the final year of his rookie contract in 2025. Asked why he attended minicamp, he simply said, quote, "I like my money. That's why I am here." He is hoping for more money. Of course, he is hoping not to get fined if he misses mandatory minicamp.
Exactly. Like if he misses mandatory minicamp, does that sound like shivers up Buffalo? Like, no, you know he's probably going to show up in training camp and play this season. Do you want to probably get him a deal? Yes, you do. But it's got to be on your terms along with his at this point. And he's right about that. I'm going to sit out when I want my big payday, but cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. That sounds like it's counterproductive. I'll show up. I'll get paid. They know when to get paid. Hopefully work something out. Quickly on Michael Parsons. I love the fact that he and Jerry months ago already worked out the dollars, the guaranteed, and the length of the contract, but yet there's no contract. Help me out, please. Help me.
It's not happening until September. That's Jerry Jones' passion. More on the early line next.
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you can't really, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Mini camp around the National Football League. All the boys are back. They even got off the boat, some of them to do so. That being Stephon Diggs, DRS, who showed up yesterday in Foxborough. He was in attendance at Patriots minicamp. Of course, a few weeks ago, Stephon Diggs for his new team was not out there at voluntary OTAs. You might say, okay, he's a vet. He knows what he's doing, but it's a new organization. In that viral boat video, Stephon Diggs was there surrounded by some ladies and, of course, had an unidentified pink substance in his hand. Let's hear from Stephon Diggs about that viral boat video and his reaction to all the chatter.
Obviously, I want to be as candid with you guys as possible. I kind of like have a thing where talk about my personal life with people I don't know personally. I'm pretty sure everybody here, men and women, are great people, but I kind of keep my personal life personal. I had a conversation with Drake, obviously. I'm going to echo everything that he said. He told me, hoping everybody make a good decision. And I had a conversation with people in the building as well, so, everything else is everything else. In particular, is all eternal.
That's a pro's pro right there, DRS. I don't care if my video has millions of likes. It is my personal life, and I will keep it personal. Wide receiver one behavior, I'm starting to buy in on the Patriots this year.
Yeah, look, he wants to be a private guy. Who's he dating? An absolutely international superstar. He is a superstar athlete. He's on a boat with cameras, and he has illicit, what we think, illegal drugs on the boat with him that he's shown allegedly parading around at this point, right? Allegedly, yeah. We're saying this. So when you're looking at it saying, what is actually going on here? But he handled it exactly the way you are supposed to handle it. Because he could have just said, like, no comment, you're guilty. He could have said, yeah, that's what I do in the off season. We don't get drug tested until I show up to camp. So, yes, I enjoy myself, but I'm here to work hard. Like, you could do things like that particularly, but I think he handled it the way that we don't need to ask any more questions after this because he didn't give us anything at this point. We know what happened. The Patriots know what happened. And basically he's saying, I met with Coach, and Coach was like, you can't do this. Coach, it was so stupid on my part. I wasn't even paying attention. I was having a good time. I saw there was a camera there. I probably should have just ended it right there, but I didn't. I'll make sure it won't happen again and be a distraction. End of story. And that's probably where they left it at that point.
I'm pretty sure, DRS, that's what it went like. I'm sure Mike Vrabel was like, dude, come on. Like, don't be an idiot. And Stephon was like, yeah, it was dumb. And they went out there. They had the party line prepped. The PR rep for the Patriots did a great job of making sure he stuck to the narrative. And Stephon Diggs did. Reporters asked follow-up questions, DRS, in that scrum you heard right there. And Stephon Diggs was basically like, listen, guys, I've been in the league for a decade. You're going to keep asking me different questions with different angles, and I'm going to say the same exact thing. And that ends it. So kudos to Stephon Diggs. And again, if it does not detract from him being on the football field right now in mandatory minicamp, and it is not actually any legal issue, guy's enjoying his summer while he still can. Unidentified pink substance, that's all we know at this moment. All right, DRS, more quarterback news around mandatory minicamp yesterday. Of course, when you go to voluntary OTAs and you're throwing a ton, your shoulder can hurt, your arm can hurt. That's the story in Duval County. New head coach Liam Cohen saying that Trevor Lawrence was wearing a sleeve, not a sling, as some said on social media, a sleeve on his throwing arm because of, quote, general soreness from how many balls he threw last week at OTAs. It was really just maintenance and something to keep it warm. Trevor, quote, feels good, it's not an issue, and it's not really bothering him. Trevor Lawrence did participate, by the way, in all those drills yesterday at minicamp, just with a sleeve on that right throwing arm.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. And also understand this, people. The reason that NFL teams bring like 5 or 6 quarterbacks into training camp isn't because, Ben, they want to get a look at the 5th and 6th string quarterback. It's because there's so many reps that you have to take that you don't want to leave it up to your 1st or 2nd string quarterback throwing 160 balls every single practice. That's the reason why. And arm fatigue is a real thing. And also understand this. Like, I'm sure Trevor Lawrence was probably working out in the offseason, but once you finally get into that OTAs training camp mentality, like everything gets up, more torque on the shoulder, more footballs you're throwing that you weren't throwing over the past couple months. General soreness is a thing for quarterbacks, not just pitchers in baseball. I'm not worried about it.
Not worried at all, DRS. There you see the sleeve on the right arm. Some people on social media saw him walk into the practice facility and were like, what? What is that on the right arm? You hope that Liam Cohen is the guy to reinvigorate the career of Trevor Lawrence entering year number 5 around the National Football League. Last week, however, DRS, we were both slightly concerned, despite the party line out of Houston, about C.J. Stroud dealing with shoulder soreness and not throwing at voluntary OTAs. Well, now at mandatory minicamp, Stroud back throwing during this time after a spring of taking it easy. D'Amico Ryans told us last week, listen, no big deal, no big issue. Both you and I thought maybe there is some slight concern. Ryan saying yesterday, quote, he'll be good to go. No concerns on my end there. DRS, has it dissipated any of your concern around the shoulder issue for CJ Stroud?
I'm not worried because we're in the offseason, you're going to take everything slower. And if something starts to flare up, you're going to shut it down quickly because the most important time of the season comes in mid-July to late July when everybody gets in the training camp. Then if we're worried about managing C.J. Stroud, I'm going to have an issue because this is a quarterback that gets by on an absolute rocket on his shoulder there with a great completion percentage here. I don't want to see that damage heading into the season, so I understand why they're taking it easy with C.J. Stroud. We're not panicking just yet, but understand this.
Yeah.
We show up there, let's just say July 21st, and it's like, hey, CJ is going to take it easy the first 2 weeks of camp. Then I'm going to get worried. Right now, I'm not worried.
Yeah, DRS, it was a little bit concerning despite what D'Amico Ryans was saying last week. Where did this shoulder soreness come from? CJ Stroud has no history of issues with his right throwing arm. Why is he taking off time in early June if it's just to take off time? So to have him back out there at mandatory minicamp, maybe a more important step of the later portion of this offseason program around the NFL before summer break, kind of gets rid of all of that. Those two quarterbacks, of course, expected to lead their franchises, maybe the top two teams, DRS, contending in the AFC South, because we'll talk about the quarterback situation in Indianapolis a little bit later on in hour number 2. Who is most likely to be the week 1 starter in Indy? It might not be Anthony Richardson any longer. MLB news and notes from yesterday next.
Hey sports fans, here's a tip to keep in mind the next time you make your betting picks. According to research, home field advantage is no joke, especially in those playoffs. In the NBA and the NFL postseason, the home team typically has a 64% shot at victory. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
I got a feeling Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. I got a feeling there is no chance they're going to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding.
They're still not expected to have over 8.5 wins. They're still not expected to have a winning record. Now, I know things could change for the next 24 hours. I get that. But everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to sign with him. He's going to sign with him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent a message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
A full slate Tuesday around Major League Baseball. Same story on this Wednesday, we hope. So let's get you caught up on all the action from our 15 games yesterday, featuring all 30 clubs in the big DRS. We asked about Andrew Abbott, the starter yesterday for the Cincinnati Reds, who was having a great season up until about a week ago against Milwaukee, when he gave up 5 earned and 2 home runs in his worst start and the most runs allowed all season long. How would Andrew Abbott bounce back? That's the question our producer extraordinaire, Joe Frizo, posed to us in a tease to our following MLB segment yesterday in our third and final hour. And bounce back, Double-A did. His first career complete game shutout. 9 innings of work. Only 3 hits allowed. Of course, a goose egg on the other side against Cleveland in Cleveland. And his Reds pick up a 1-zip win. Spencer Steer, an RBI single in the 5th. That was the only scoring needed after an absolute gem from Andrew Abbott on the bump.
Yeah, by the way, the Reds yesterday coming into that game, I thought they would be in a good spot. Why? Because I told you the day before, Wade Miley was a left-handed pitcher and really held down the Guardians. 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs for a really bad pitcher. And then you get an above-average left-handed arm on the mound, and what does he do? That's a shutout going up against the Guardians yesterday.
Yeah.
But I was disappointed in the Reds' offense. I needed 3 runs for an all-team total parlay. Multiple chances with runners in scoring position and under 1 out, and under 2 outs, I should say. Weren't able to get the job done, but you don't need to get the job done when your pitching staff was fantastic yesterday, which includes Abbott now. ERA under 2, now sitting at a 1.87. That's, hey, Guardians can't hit lefties. He served them up yesterday, man. Up and down you go.
DRS, as you broke it down, 6-1 now, the record for Andrew Abbott this year, 1.87 ERA. He gave up 5 earned to Milwaukee, 4 earned in an earlier start, I believe, in early April. Outside of that, in every other start, Andrew Abbott has not allowed more than a single earned run. Meanwhile, the Reds playing pretty good baseball, 5 consecutive wins for Cincy. I need my Reds to get to 80 wins and over that preseason win total of 79 and a hook. They're 35-33 at this moment. DRS, 5 teams around the bigs have now won 40 games. The most recent to hit that threshold, the New York Yankees. A 10-2 win yesterday in Kansas City over the Royals. Win number 44, the Pinstripes, and a home run that traveled 469 feet for Aaron Judge. 3rd longest home run match this year in the major leagues.
Yeah, Noah Cameron came into that game in pretty good form. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 6 Ks, and 1 strikeout. How about 16 total hits for the New York Yankees yesterday, which again equated to 10 runs, where you saw the final bits of those 10 runs there in the top of the 6th inning, where they plated 5 runs. Aaron Judge, 2 base knocks yesterday, 3 RBI, which included that home run, still sitting at .396. Like, you go 2 for 5, and you're not even improving your batting average. Says something about how good your season actually is. He's been nothing short of spectacular this year, and those bats coming alive at the right time right now. And as we wait on somebody coming back from the IL that could help again knock baseballs into the seats, things are looking up for the Yankees here right now.
You're talking about the guy formerly known as Mike Giancarlo Stanton, 2 of 3 at the dish yesterday with 3 ribbies in his first Double-A rehab appearance yesterday in that New York organization. Aaron Judge, 24 home runs, 2nd most in MLB, 58 RBIs, 2nd most in MLB, a .396 average, the best in baseball. The Dodgers got spanked yesterday in San Diego. 11-1 the victory for the Padres. Manny Machado had 5 RBIs, but despite getting blown out in Southern California, some good news out of Petco for LA. Shohei Ohtani, 44 pitches in a simulated 3-inning workout for the Dodgers. Dave Roberts, the manager yesterday for LA DRS, saying there was a, quote, north of 0 chance that Shohei Ohtani is back on the bump, starting for the Dodgers ahead of the All-Star break in about a month.
Yeah, take it slow. No reason to rush him at this point yesterday. And we talked about this game where Dylan Cease was the better pitcher on the mound, didn't know too much about Sauer, and they just let him out there and say, look, hey, we're not going to eat up at bullpen. Pitch as well as you can tonight, which wasn't good. 4 2/3 innings pitched, 13 hits, 9 earned runs yesterday for 16 total hits for the Padres. But look at Cease on the other side up against a really good roster. 7 innings pitched, only 3 hits, no earned runs, 11 strikeouts. That's the Dylan Cease that we anticipate and expect, and he improves from 1-5 now to 2-5. It's a much better pitcher than that. Maybe he starts acting like it, which he did yesterday.
DRS, some bad pitching news for your Fightins. The Phils announcing yesterday Aaron Nola will not throw for at least 2 weeks. Philadelphia got beat yesterday at home, 8-4. 10 losses in the last 12 for the Phils. Cubbies got that win yesterday. Hour 2 up next.